Welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing. There is a ton of sewing today, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. I cannot believe it has been 2 weeks. I know I say that like every time, but like legitimately, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks. I feel like I blinked my eyes and I'm recording again. We have so much to talk about, you guys, but first I just want to announce a prize winner. So we had a giveaway in the last episode, which consisted of this beautiful ball of Drops Delight sock yarn in the colorway 09. I don't know. It's blue. It's super cool. That was donated by Lydia, who is the Right Yarn on Instagram. We have a darling little package from Attic Spin Dye that includes some tea, some stitch markers, a lavender sachet, and 2 itty bitty minis. This is the colorway Vibrant Iris, and I believe, let's see, yes, this is Quoth the Raven. So that will be included. This is a tag, Attic Spin Dye. I will put the link to their yarn down below. I know many of you were very interested in supporting them last podcast episode, and I cannot recommend them more. You definitely should, especially if you are in the UK or the EU, because the shipping won't be that much. And also included in this prize for the episode 53 giveaway was this llama bag that is a dodgy bag that I made myself, and it is dodgy because, as you can see, especially on this side, the drawstring casing is a little wonky, but it's llamas, and on the inside it's pink, and it's a little sock-sized bag, which I think is perfect for sock yarn. So I have used a random number generator, as I always do, to pick a winner. And the winner is number 101. Your Ravelry name is Colorful Coder. I will put it on the screen right now. Your name is Sally, I believe. So I will send you a message on Ravelry. Please respond to me with your full name and your mailing address, and I will get that in the mail to you this week. Also, I have everybody who, except for one person, has gotten back to me regarding the prizes for the Spread the Warmth make-along that just ended in the last episode, and everyone who got back to me has already received their prize. So I'm super excited. Everyone seems to be pretty happy with them, but one person has not gotten back to me with your name and address, and that is Allie Rules. I will put that on the screen right now as well. I will give it another 2 weeks. What you have won is this Good Yarn Vibes pin from Crochet Luna. And this, I think this is the Angora. Yes, this is acrylic Angora yarn from Ice Yarns. So beautiful. So do get back to me, please, on Ravelry. I did send you a message. If you don't get back to me in another 2 weeks, then this prize as a whole will go back into the prize bin for a future make-along or giveaway that we do on this podcast episode. So those are the prizes. Congrats to the winners. It was truly a joy to read everything. The prompt in the Ravelry group for an entry into the giveaway of the llama bag and the yarn was to tell me something you do that makes you feel good about yourself every day. And what I do is I have this little tube of eye cream. It probably does nothing for these. Nothing. But it makes me feel awesome. So I use it every morning and every night. And Colorful Coder, the person who won, what she does every morning is she uses her skincare products as well. She says she uses cleanser, toner, serum, and moisturizer, and then she feels ready to conquer the day. And I think that's fabulous. So please do get back to me, and I will get your prize out in the mail to you as soon as possible. Are you ready to talk about stuff? Let's jump right in. First of all, what am I wearing? This is the Doppio Colesseum pattern, which is a crochet pattern by Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast and Knit It, Hook It, Craft It. There's a Colesseum pattern, and then there is a Doppio Colesseum pattern. This is the Doppio. So you make this from the bottom up and I'm getting all tangled up. But this is what it looks like. I actually didn't get to complete the entire pattern because I used a DK weight yarn. I used Barocco Cotton DK, I believe. And the pattern itself calls for fingering weight yarn, but I love how it came out. And the thing that I like most about using Barocco Cotton DK for this project is that this will just stay. So take some fluffing, adjusting. This is what it looks like if I stand up. Goes down to about here. So it's slightly asymmetrical, but once I do this, it just stays. There's no pins, there's no, it just, I don't know what it is about that Barocco vintage yarn. Vintage, that's a different yarn. Cotton DK, that makes it just drape beautifully and stay. I don't know, but the pattern is lovely. Faye is lovely. Hi Faye. And you definitely should go support her. This is an amazing pattern, and she also has some crochet colorwork patterns and knitting patterns, and it's just the best. So I'll link to this pattern specifically directly down below in the drop down box, and you should go check it out. But definitely check out the rest of her patterns too. I was just feeling blue and pink today. That's my life. My favorite colors, blue and pink. Okay. Also, if you are looking for me on the interwebs anywhere, you can find me as The Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram, Facebook, The Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. Links to this will all be directly down below. We have a podcast group for this podcast. Oh man, this is gonna be one of those episodes, you guys. I can already tell. I can't talk. I feel like I'm not even looking at the camera. You're just gonna have to stick with me and hope that this gets better. So we have a group for this podcast on Ravelry. There is a link to that directly down below as well, where we have all of our make-alongs, crochet-alongs, etc. And at the moment, there is not a, well, actually, that's not true. There is a make-along going on. I need to take a sip of tea. I am drinking some cold infused tea. It's showing up really dark on the camera. It's in this bottle because I must have things with lids because I cannot be trusted. But it's a peach orange cold infused tea from Tetley's, and I have been in such a cold infused, cold brew tea kind of place this week. This is like the 4th one that I've had. I don't know why that is. It's just delicious. Okay, what was I saying? We do have a make-along running currently that is the Year of the Sock 2019. So at the end of June, we will draw another prize. So there's one prize per quarter for the Year of the Sock 2019. You can crochet socks, you can knit socks, it does not matter. And of course, if you are entering the Year of the Sock 2019, then you must also be entering Crochet Luna's Sock Theme Cal 2019. But we'll talk about socks a little bit later. There are no other make-alongs other than that running and currently in my podcast group, taking a small break to decompress. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, funny memes, doesn't matter, and you want to send them to me and you want to guarantee that you will get a response, please send me an email. My email address is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. That is set up specifically for this podcast. I do want to say thank you so much to everyone who commented on the last episode. There was like over 100 comments. I have read every single one. I have not replied to a single one yet, but just know that I have read them, and I read them all as they came in. And you guys, I can't even, like, the reason that I haven't responded to them is because I'm like, you're making me really emotional. And I can't handle that right now. So I will start going through and replying to them either like sometime this week. And it may take me a little while, but I do always try to respond to every comment on my YouTube channel, at least in the most recent episodes. Sometimes I get someone that responds to, like, leaves a comment on an episode from like a year and a half ago and I don't see it. Sorry, I don't keep track of those. But I will respond to all of your comments, but I can't thank you enough for all of the support and the love, and it's a little overwhelming. And I don't want to get emotional at 8 a.m. in the morning. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. It is 8 a.m., you guys. This is much earlier than I normally record. And I am recording because I'm going to be babysitting my niece at 10 a.m. So I need to get this recorded so that I can be editing while I am babysitting her. She is 3.5 months old. So cute. I love her dearly. But you may hear some noises because it's pretty early. So my brother's probably going to be getting ready for work pretty soon. My husband is over there working. His girlfriend is in the back room. She'll be getting ready at some point, and you may hear baby screaming. That's just my life. I like it that way. Okay. a very special announcement. My Lake of Nine shawl is not out yet. Don't get excited. I mean, get excited, but like hold your horses. It is completely, the pattern is done, the testing is done, and it is off for tech editing. So I should have it back within 1 week. And the reason that I am bringing it up to you right now is because you know, what is that? Ugh. Fuzz. I apologize. Because you know that I will make an announcement video for this shawl, and there will be a coupon code. So if you would like to buy this pattern at $1 off of its purchase price, then keep an eye out for the tiny video that will be appearing on your YouTube sometime next week. If you are not a subscriber to this podcast and you want to be kept up to date for any future videos, and specifically that video, do just hit the subscribe button down below. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. I love this shawl. I'm so excited. Next time I'm probably gonna wear it. We'll see. We'll see. Let's talk crochet. I have a finished object. I have a crochet finished object, a knitting finished object. I have some works in progress, and then I have a literal mountain, a tiny mountain, but still a mountain in my opinion, of sewing. Because as you all know, if you were here in the last episode, I went on Stitchcation 2019, which is the 3rd year in a row that I have gone. My best friend is part of the sewing circle, and they rent a house somewhere in Florida every year, and they sew for 3 days straight. And the first year, I did not sew at all. I just crocheted. The second year, I only sewed for 1 day, and I made a bag, a tote bag, which was super cute. And then this year, I barely crocheted at all, and I sewed for 3 days straight. So they've infiltrated me, and now I am a sewer, a sewist. I sew. But let's talk yarn first, shall we? I have a very, very cool finished object. It is living in a Harry Potter bag that says, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good," that I got for $3 at Primark when I was in the UK last year. Of course, it has a crochet clam button on it and some pins that I also got for $3. What is living in here is, I don't know what I did with the pattern. It's probably in my backpack because I took it to work. But I can tell you what the pattern is. It is the Gemini shawl by Colesseum of the Quirky Monday Craft Cast. The pattern is not out quite yet. The testing, I believe, is just finished or is finishing this week, and I finished testing the shawl on time. I know I don't deserve a medal for that because that's like a thing you're supposed to do when you test patterns, but me and deadlines, we do not get along. The reason I finished this on time is because I had so long, and also because I went on Stitchcation and dedicated like half of a day to working on this. So let me show you the yarn that I used, and then I will show you the amazing finished object. They're all in these little plastic bags to keep them from tangling. So this is, what colorway is this? This is Celestial. This is Sheep Happens yarn, which you will know about if you watched the last episode. And if you haven't watched the last episode, go look at the beautiful yarn that she sent me. But this one and this one, my second color, are both from Sheep Happens. And I purchased these from her last year. This is Deep End, and this is Celestial. This is a 100% merino fingering weight yarn. I love the colors. And then the third color that I chose was Peekaboo Yarns in the colorway Brighter Blue Music. It is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. And this is the 3 colors. Now this one is significantly thicker of a yarn than this one, even though they're all fingering weight. So I changed the way that I did my colors, even though I like how she did them, but I just changed the way I did the colors. So this is my finished object. It is slightly crumply because I have actually already worn this. So you basically work one panel, then you work the second panel, and then you do a braid up the middle to join them. So the way that her pattern calls is these 2 colors right here. This color would be here on the second panel, and then this color would be here. But I really liked how it looked with some symmetry, and so I used the light blue, the Brighter Blue Music color, to be the middle section contrast, and then I have the dark blue and the teal. And then on the dark blue side, I carried it all the way to the end. And on the teal side, I carried the teal all the way to the end. And then she does call for a border as well. So I did the border across the top. I did not do the border around the bottom because I just really like how it looks without it. Not that I did work the border around the whole thing just to make sure that the pattern worked and it looked great. I just really liked how it looked with just the border across the top to hide where I've carried up my yarn. And I'm showing you the wrong side. This is the right side. There, that looks a little better. So, and then this is such a unique way to join the two panels. And again, I changed the colors a little bit on this as well. So she has you hold two colors together to do the join. And I actually held 2 strands of the dark blue down one side and 2 strands of the teal up the other side. So I'm gonna lean back so I can get as much of it in the frame as possible. I love it. I'm gonna put it on. Oh, so good. And I wore this and I got so many compliments. People were like, oh my God, did you make that? Yes. Yes, I did. But not the pattern. It's totally cliche. So I love it. You definitely should buy it. I will let you know as soon as it is available. It felt really good to have a crochet finished object. And I know I have had some recently, but I just feel like it's been a while since all of my crochet projects seem to be large and taking a while. And I finished this. I finished the panels while I was on Stitchcation, and then I did the braid join and I seamed all the ends in and blocked it and did the border when I got home. Monday. I got home Sunday, finished this Monday, I think. So, very, very happy with it. I love the colors. It's everything I want in a shawl. And it's such a unique construction and design and space. It's inspired by space. So it is the Gemini shawl. I will let you guys know when it becomes available. And you may go look on my Ravelry page for this shawl as well if you would like to see some more pictures, some close-ups, and as soon as the pattern is available, I will link to it on my Ravelry page as well. And I will put what yarns I have used in my Ravelry page. I'm not so great at doing that. That is the Gemini shawl. So exciting that it's done. I have a knitting finished object. It is living in my rainbow llamacorn sock bag from Slipped Stitch Studios. And the yarn is a Knit Two Together Sock Club by the Gerser Girls and Hugh Loco. And let's see, I believe this is the July one, possibly? I don't know. I don't know which colorway this is because they're all listed. So basically you get 100 grams of this beautiful Hugh Loco sock yarn, and then you get 20 grams of this brown mini. Now, when I made full-size socks out of these, and by full size I mean I generally make shorty socks, and these go all the way up your leg. I just didn't want to stop working with the yarn, okay? I have not weaved in my ends yet or blocked them, but I will do that today. Look at this sock. I loved every single stitch of working with this. The yarn is such a pleasure to work with. This was sent to me by Amanda, who is a viewer of this podcast. And so I use the Sockmatician's Toe Up Sock recipe for all of my socks. Sometimes I sub in the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. Here I did a heel flap and gusset. So I work the toes magic loop until I get to my stitch count, which is 64 stitches, and then I work 9-inch circular all the way to the end. Now I did the heel flap and gusset, and then of course I did a 3x1 rib. I just wanted it to look a little more tidy than a 2x2. And I did 15 rows of the ribbing on this sock, and I only did that because I was getting bored. I was like, oh, I don't want to do 20 rows of ribbing. I do not think I would have had enough yarn if I had done 20 rows of ribbing for both of these socks. I think I would have been playing a serious game of yarn chicken. So I'm pretty glad that I stopped at 15. So this is them. These are my August socks for the sock theme cal. July. Yes, these are my August socks. I cannot remember off the top of my head what the prompt is. I couldn't remember last time either, but it is linked in my project page on Ravelry, so if you want to know, click on the project page. And it is in the name, so it's like the prompt socks and then August socks, both in the name. So these are my socks. I love them. I love every minute of working on them. And I have not weighed this yet, but I am pretty sure that I could get another pair of shorty socks out of these, out of that ball. Maybe with a different mini for contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. I love them. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to wear them anytime soon because tall socks in Florida are a little crazy because it's so hot, right? It's so hot. Anyways, I'm very, very happy with them. Stay off frame, bag. So those are my finished objects. I really, really, really enjoyed working on those socks. It was just a pleasure to work with that yarn. Shall we continue our sock talk? Let's move right along to works in progress. And I have not one, not two, but 3 pairs of socks on the needles. Why, you ask? I don't know. I went crazy. So the first pair you have already seen. Nope, not in that bag. I have 2 pairs in one bag and 1 pair in another. This is a bag that was sent to me by Colesseum of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. It's Christmas Flamingos. She has bag updates in her Etsy shop. I do believe she's sold out at the moment, but you can go check if you would like. She has fairly regular updates. So this is my July shop. July socks. You already saw this one. This was done at the last time I recorded. These are my July socks, and I believe the prompt for July is chilling out with friends. And look, it's so cool. I am obsessed. I mean, self-striping sock yarn is the best thing ever to begin with, but also this gradient just makes me so happy. So I have started the second one. This is West Yorkshire Spinners yarn in the colorway, I don't think it says Atlantis? I think that's what I said last time. I've started the second one. The gray for the toe, cuff, and heel is Lang Shawl in just gray. And then this is how far I am. So I started the toe, and then I got a few stripes in, and then I started some other socks. So this will be getting some love because I do definitely want to finish my July socks. And it's just addicting. This yarn is hardy and like sturdy and a little bit rustic, but it does not split, and it is a pleasure to work with. This is what I wanted my Barocco socks yarn to be as an experience, and it was not. It was terrible. But this is amazing. I really, really, really am enjoying West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. So those are July socks. We already looked at the August socks because they're finished. Now we have September and October. July, August, September, October. So one of these, I think September's prompt is knitting at the library. Does that sound right? I don't know. So I have started a sock for that. And it's actually almost done. I just am on the cuff. So here we go. This is a Regia yarn that was sent to me by Lydia. I have never worked with Regia before, and I kind of love it. Look at that. It's not self-striping, and it's not quite pooling, it's just variegated. You can clearly see though, I was knitting here and I was trying to make the stripes a little less pooly, and so I loosened up my tension a little bit, and you can see right here where it goes in. I decided that was not gonna work for a sock, so the rest of my tension is much, much better. I am also using Lang Shawl for the heels, toes, and cuffs of this. It is like a tealy, this color. They don't say what the color is on the band. They just have like a number. So anyways, I picked that up in Edinburgh when I was there. Some gray and some of this, and it was pretty inexpensive. And I'm really excited to be able to use it for contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. So the first sock for this is finished. This is the Regia yarn. Let me see if I can tell you. It is the Regia 4-ply. I don't know how to say that word. so I'm not going to butcher it, but the colorway I believe is 5025. So I'm not gonna look that up, but I'm sure you can find this somewhere if you would like it. Regia has about approximately 1 billion colorways, so trying to link to this on my Ravelry page was a little bit insane. But the Fish Lips Kiss heel is done. The cuff is just started. I think I am 3 rows in maybe, and I need to get to 12. So maybe I'll finish that today. How many things, you guys, am I gonna say that I'm gonna finish today? Let's be honest. Is any of that gonna happen? No. It'll be next podcast episode, and I'll be like, look, I've just finished it yesterday. So that's the second pair of socks. So those are September, I believe. And then October, Season of Change, I believe is the prompt, or maybe that's September's prompt. I think October is Season of Change. This again, the same gray yarn that I used for this, Cuff Heels and Toes, I am using for these. And I should have just enough to get this full pair of Cuffed Heels and Toes and the July socks Cuffed Heels and Toes, and then I'll have to weigh it because I don't think I'll have enough to get a third pair out of it. So this yarn, I do not know what this is. This was also sent to me by Lydia, and she wrote what it was on the paper, and then I had everything in a pile, and then all of my in-laws came over for Easter and like visited and descended on the house, so everything got moved around and shoved into the closet, and I cannot find where that paper is. I cannot find your card, Lydia. So I don't know what yarn this is, but I love it. This is what it looks like. It is a very unique self-striping kind of a yarn. So of course the gray is this, and then it starts like I would never have expected it to go into orange and then green and then orange and green and orange. I don't know. So I think I just really like it. I think it fits really well with Season of Change because it has like the autumnal colors, and then it has like the wintry colors coming in, and I just love it. And also this yarn feels, when you're working with it, it's like, it's almost got like a lotion-y quality to it, which I don't know if that's actual lanolin in the wool or if that's just the way that it was processed, but it feels so good on your hands, and it also feels like it's gonna wear really, really well. So I only have this much done because this is the one that I took with me on Stitchcation, and I got the toe done on the drive up there, and then I got all of that done when I was going cross-eyed from sewing. So yeah, that's sock pair number 3, and I am trying not to get tangled up. I like this bag that Kalisha sent me because I can fit 200 grams of sock yarn plus a finished sock plus contrast heels, hose, and cuffs plus needles and a notions pouch, and if I smush it just a little bit, it all fits. This is a great size of a project bag. So I have 3 pairs of socks currently on the go, which is kind of insane. But I think that I'm gonna focus on the July socks maybe, because I just love them so much, but I almost love them too much. I don't want to work on them because as soon as they're done, it's gonna be so sad. And I'm trying not to repeat using the same sock yarn this year while I'm doing the year of the sock. I'm trying to like try as much sock yarn as I can. So I will save that sock yarn, the West Yorker spinners, what I have left over. I guarantee you I can get another pair out of it. I will save it for next year, but I want to just keep knitting on it forever. I have a crochet work in progress still to show you and a knitting work in progress. So all of my crochet time was dedicated to the Gemini shawl so that it could be completed. And I didn't have a ton of crochet time because I did go on Stitchcation, but I spent all of my time sewing. So this, a little bit of love one of my designs got, which is in the alpaca my bag. Alpaca butt. This is the Nihilist cowl, and it has grown ever so slightly. So this yarn, ooh, it's showing up so good on camera. It might look orange and black to you, but the closer you get, you can see that it's actually orange and purple. This is a colorway, this is Malabrigo. It is 100% merino superwash single, so it is a single ply yarn, and the colorway is Lynx. I have 2 of them. I got them at my local yarn store stash on local yarn store day. Specifically, so that I could design something with them. And I have my notes. So when I'm designing, I always have the yarn, all of the yarn for the project. And then I have a notebook. This one, I believe, was sent to me by Lydia too. So that I can write everything down, because if you don't write everything down, you will not remember. A couple of stitch markers and a pen or a pencil or something. So I don't know where this was last time, but this is how big it is. I think maybe it was like here. So it got like ever so slightly larger, but you can already tell like what this is gonna be with the lace panels. So it's going to have a little bit of lace every so many rows. And it's going to be a really, really simple pattern, and anybody will be able to do it. And you could probably make it in any size as long as you stop before it gets too big. So it's going to be a cowl, and it's going to be from the bottom up. So you can build it this way. Ugh, it's not going to stay. There. So you build it from the bottom up, and then at a certain point, you're going to be connecting it around the back. So I'm excited. I really, really love the color. How many times this episode can I say really? That should be the title of this episode. Really, really, really. So that got a little bit of love. I think on Tuesday this week, actually, or maybe Wednesday, I don't know. It did not get touched until my Gemini shawl was complete, because I really was focusing on that. So hopefully I'll have some more progress on that to show you next time. I haven't touched my Vanya cowl either. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with the lace. I need to frog a couple of rows, which is a little bit of a process on a single ply yarn, but I know some of you really were excited about that one, and I am too. I think a lace cowl will be awesome for the summer, especially in Florida. And then I have one more work in progress before we get into sewing, which I pulled out last night. Now, you will only recognize this if you have been a longtime viewer of this podcast, because it had the tiniest amount of work done on it, and then it got put away for almost a year. No joke. So it is living in this bag. It's got these beautiful little swans on it, and then this kind of fabric. Now, this is fabric I bought at last year's Stitchcation, and then I made the bag. I think I made the bag when I got home. It's interfaced, but I used, I guess, the wrong kind of interfacing because it wrinkles like nobody's business, but I don't really care. It's just a project bag. So what is living in this is my transition shawl. Oops, let me see. This is a picture of it. I first saw this shawl on the Noble Character Crafts podcast. She knit a version of it, and I was like, oh man, that is so pretty. So the reason I started this shawl is because I have got to practice my purling, especially if I am ever going to knit a fade cardigan with the Skyrim yarn that you saw in the last episode. And also, breaking news alert that I never thought I would hear. My husband has requested that I make him a grandpa sweater. If you watch AP Bio, which is a show on NBC, like a comedy show, the main character in the show is always wearing like these super comfy knit sweaters, like cardigans. They're so amazing. And we were watching it, and he was like, I want one of those. And I was like, I could probably make one. And he was like, really? Okay. And I was like, what? So I need to get better at purling before I can tackle cardigans. And honestly, I would almost rather steek. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but I just want to knit in the round and then steek and then pick up a button band. But purling is a skill that I definitely need to get better at on the continental style. And the problem that I'm having is it's a lot of motion with my left hand doing this. And it like gives me I'm afraid it's going to give me a wrist ache eventually. So I'm trying out different methods. I've tried the Norwegian purl, which is pretty great, but it seriously messes up my tension between my knit and my purl stitches. And maybe that will improve with practice, I don't know. But the purl rows are a lot looser than the knit rows if I do Norwegian purl. Anyways, I have to practice if I'm going to make a cardigan / 2 cardigans. So I think I'll make my Skyrim cardigan first because it's smaller and I will have more ability to practice and put in lifelines and rip back, etc. before I tackle a grandpa sweater. But this is what it looks like. Ooh. Okay, here we go. So it's not a triangle, it's an interesting shawl shape, and it has kind of lacy yarn over panels. This little stitch marker, so all of this is what was done before. It's been sitting for a year. This is how much I did last night. So maybe 12, 15 rows. Of course, these rows are gonna take longer and longer. I'm already up to like 140 something stitches, maybe more. And eventually it's gonna be like 400 stitches. So these rows are gonna take ages. But the yarn that I am using, I have 4 colors. This one had a small accident on the ball winder, which is why it looks crazy. This green one is attached. Also this, and this one. So you can even see how shiny it is. It is because this yarn is Valley Yarns Charlemont, which is a Webs yarn. It is 60% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 20% nylon. And so you get 400 yards, 439 yards for 100 grams. So yeah, I have a light gray, a dark gray, a light green, and a dark green. And the yarn is dreamy. It's a little bit splitty, I'm not gonna lie, but I think that's the way it's plied. It's so soft, and you can even tell. I gotta find where I messed it up last night, because I messed it up and spent like 15 minutes trying to fix it. Oh, right here. So you can see these yarn over panels are like even, and then we have a giant hole. Something happened. Well, I know what happened. What happened is my needle got pulled out. I don't know what happened, but I lost like 5 stitches off my needle right next to the yarn over. So I have the right stitch count. I managed to like fix it to the point of the right stitch count, but I am missing a stitch right here. Whatever, I'm not ripping it back. In the scheme of the entire shawl, it's not going to matter. So I have a little baby shawl. The dark green is going to be the main color all the way through, and then the rest of it's going to be striped. I think it's going to be really beautiful. I will tell you, I do not like purling. And I don't know why. It's just not fast. It's not intuitive. Like when I'm knitting in a circle, I can just be like doop, 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 and it's perfect and wonderful and everything is fine. When I'm purling, literally I can start in like the most zen place and just be like, and my shoulders are down and everything's fine, and not even 3 minutes later I take a pause for a second and I'm literally like this, and I have to be like, okay, put your shoulders back down, stop being tense. And I don't know why that is. It doesn't happen that way when I'm doing ribbing on a sock. It doesn't happen that way when I did ribbing, like 4 inches of ribbing for all of the hats that I made last year. When I have to purl for a lot of stitches, for some reason it stresses me out and frustrates me. So that is why I'm doing this, because sometimes, now I'm a full supporter of you should work on what brings you joy, but also you need to expand your skills. And clearly I need to expand my skills. So if I'm not good at purling by the end of this, I'll give up forever, but I had better be, because there's about 1 billion stitches in this shawl. And then it ends with a small brioche panel. It's just yarn, right? Right? Now that I've procrastinated the shawl for an entire year because I don't like purling, I am going to dedicate some time each week to work on it. I don't know how long it's going to take to finish, but I will be working on it, and I will be reporting my purling woes to you. Okay, are you ready to talk sewing? This is so exciting. I finished 2 dresses and 2 skirts while I was on Stitchcation. I know. The first dress that I made is another version of the Cocoa dress by Tilly and the Buttons. So you will have seen my Harry Potter dress, which was made out of the Cocoa dress. It had 3/4 sleeves, and then I wanted it to be a little bit longer. So when I made the second version, I made short sleeves, and I added about 3 inches to the length, and it's perfect. It's Star Wars. This is the dress. I'll give you a close-up of the fabric. It is Darth Vader helmets, Stormtrooper helmets, and Boba Fett helmets. So here we go. I will also say going on a sewing vacation with like 13 other people who sew will do wonders for your sewing mojo. And also I've been having a tension problem with my sewing machine like since I bought it. There was one lady there who literally fixed my tension problem in 10 seconds. She was like, oh, you just have to do this. 10 seconds. She fixed a year of me struggling with the tension on my sewing machine. So grateful. So you can even tell, like from right here, I did a little bit of a zigzag around the collar. And then here, when everything is fixed, I did a straight stretch stitch, which looks a little neater in my opinion. So here we go. This is the dress. It has short sleeves. It's perfect. And then it is this long. Ooh. And it has pockets hidden in the seam allowance. And I did a better job on these pockets than I did on the Harry Potter dress because they blend perfectly. So here it is. I love it. I put some stabilizer in on the shoulders so that it will not, because it's a little bit, it's kind of heavy and it's a knit fabric, so you don't want it to stretch when then all the weight is being placed on these two shoulder seams, so you don't want it to stretch out. So I have not worn any of the things that I've made yet, and I am thrilled. I probably will wear this on Sunday. So I don't have any pictures or anything of me in them, but I cannot recommend Tilly and the Buttons patterns enough. They are so clear and detailed, and they will hold your hand, which is of course what I need. And it's perfect. The measurements are perfect. I made the size that I thought would fit me based on the measurements, and it fits perfectly, and it's just wonderful. And also, it's Star Wars. So that's the Coco dress. Highly recommend. Second was a skirt out of this book, which is the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book that I bought. I made the BB skirt. Now you can see that that's a pretty long skirt with a contrast panel. I made it all in one fabric. And honestly, I highly recommend the Coco dress, but if you want a bunch of Tilly and Buttons patterns, this book's like 20 bucks on Amazon. And you get a bunch of patterns. Totally worth it. I made it shorter. I don't like skirts. I don't like fitted skirts that long over my knee. I can't deal. It restricts my movement too much. So I made it all out of one fabric. It's a Harry Potter skirt. So if you look closely, it's blowing out the camera a little bit, but you can see that these are the Deathly Hallows symbol. So it's black, so you can't actually really tell where the seams are unless I show them to you. You can see it doesn't quite match up there. It's great. It's so great. So yeah, the waistband, and then there's 4 separate skirt panels. And then of course, if you do it the way they have it in the book, 2 of the panels would be in one fabric and the other 2 in another fabric. But it's perfect. This is exactly what I need more of in my life. First of all, nerd clothing, but second of all, stretchy skirts. So great. So I'm really, really happy with this, and that was a very easy skirt. I didn't add pockets or anything to this skirt or the next skirt or the other dress because I didn't want it to weigh it down. When something is kind of tight to your body, I don't know that you should add pockets to it because it's just going to add bulk in a weird place. I did, because I don't have a serger, she just tells you to do the hem, just fold it over, do the hem, and then trim off the seam allowance, but I actually did a rolled hem. So I folded it under and then folded it again and then did the hem, which I think looks super professional. So this is actually the last skirt that I completed, which is why it's a little bit neater than the other projects. I also, this is how I keep my patterns, by the way. I keep the pattern and the traced pieces in a Ziploc bag. So I did one more skirt. This is the Berta 6589 skirt pattern. So you get 3 skirt patterns. I made this one, which on the model, you can see how short it is. It's actually not that short in real life, and I cut some of it off the bottom. Or at least it's not that short on me. This is also a Star Wars skirt. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, you guys. Look at this fabric. I got it at Joann's. All of this fabric I bought at Joann's. Or at least my Joann's, that's like a mile from my house. They have knit nerd fabric now. So there's no pockets or anything in this. This skirt is only 2 panels, so like a front panel and a back panel, and then you have a side seam, which you can kind of see the seam right here. This is what it looks like on the inside. So you can see that I didn't do the rolled hem or anything like that on this one. I just turned it over and then cut the seam allowance off. This is the inside seam. The way the elastic proved a bit of a challenge, and I had to rip it out. So the way that the pattern is written was very confusing to me. It's a very sparse pattern. Now, I know a lot of sewing patterns are like that, but I have not sewn a ton, and I'm used to tilling in the buttons patterns, which are amazing and very detailed. This is like even less detailed than a simplicity pattern. So if you sew, you know what that means. I tried to do the elastic, so I didn't have any elastic, first of all, because I was not paying attention when I bought the pattern and the fabric. And then after that, on Stitchcation, we ran out to Hobby Lobby, so I bought some elastic, only this kind, because I was like, oh, the elastic goes on the top like this, like you'll be able to see the elastic. So I bought a really nice, soft, stretchy one. Well, no, the way that the pattern is actually written, once I figured it out with some help, is that once you sew the elastic on, you turn it under and then tack it down so that you don't see the elastic on the skirt, which is fine, but I feel like it creates some awkward wrinkles, and I didn't really like it. So then I had to figure out how to sew on the elastic so that it would show on the outside, but the seam would still be good. I'm sorry if this like shiny elastic is blinding you. So essentially what I did is I ended up sewing the right sides together, so the right side of the elastic and the right side of the fabric, sewing it like this, and then just flipping it, which took way longer than it should have for me to figure out, probably, but hey, it worked. I did not do anything with this seam, but it's pretty sturdy, so I think it's fine. And then this is the back, where the elastic is. I sewed that together right in the center of the back, so that I can always tell which is the back side of this skirt. I am very excited to wear this. It's everything I want in clothing. Let me put this pattern back. Now that I figured out this pattern, I can make 20 of these. Because it is really easy. It's just 2 panels and an elastic and a hem. Could probably get that done in a couple hours. Finally, I have one more dress to show you, and it is another version, ooh, there's fuzz everywhere, of the Stevie dress from Tilly and the Buttons. This is a dress that is made for like linen or something like that. You will remember I made a version of this in Harry Potter quilting cotton, which looks fabulous, but is a little uncomfortable to wear. Because first of all, I used the wrong kind of interfacing on the neck band, so it's like really stiff, but also it doesn't have any give at all. So it fits, but it's a little too short, and I would have to wear tights or leggings underneath it. So I made another version in another fabric that the pattern does not call for. I wanted to make it in a stretch knit, so I made it in stretch velvet. Let me tell you how much of a pain this was. You can't really frog velvet. Like you can't, it's very difficult to unpick velvet, especially when the seams won't let you get to the wrong side of the fabric. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. So the modification that I made on this pattern is that I made it a little bit longer because the other one was too short. I did not add pockets. I thought it would kind of jack up the velvet. Like I didn't want it to hang weird, but this is the dress. This is the front. It goes all the way down. It's the perfect length. You can see these sleeve cuffs. I may actually have to tack these down a little bit more because they're kind of rolled over. So I tacked them down in like 4 places, but I think I may need to put a little bit more because I don't want them to come This is where the actual seam is. So that covers it up on the outside. This is the back. I found a super cute gold button for like 30 cents at one of the quilt stores on clearance. And I will say, sewing with velvet is no joke. Like, it moves all over the place. And I generally use clips instead of pins, and I used every single clip and like a bunch of pins to hold it down. It's not so bad when you're just doing these seams or like seaming together two pieces, but I was seaming together right here is where we have a problem. Is when we're seaming these two back pieces to the back bodice to the back skirt piece. And you can see right here that there's like a wrinkle and then it goes up a little bit. This is after pulling it out twice. But the problem is when you try to unpick velvet, if you're not so careful, you will make a hole. So I kind of just fudged it to the point where I thought it looked good enough and then left it. If I would have ripped it out entirely, it would have really messed up the back. And I don't think you can tell from far away. Only when you get close can you tell that there was a problem there. And the thread that I used matched super well. So you can tell that there's a seam, but it's exactly the same color. So I'm really excited to wear this too. It's velvet. My 90s inner child is so happy right now. And it's butterflies. And I'm not normally a gold person, but I feel like with the red, it looks great. Red is one of those colors that I think looks pretty good on me. Like, as long as it's a bright, like maroon, nah, but like a really bright, deep red looks pretty good. So I'm excited. I'm so excited to wear this. And again, I'm not going to recommend that you sew in velvet, but I do recommend the Tilly and the Buttons Cocoa dress, Stevie dress, and this Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. So good. Yeah. And after doing this, so I did the Star Wars dress first, then I did this one, then I did the two skirts, and the two skirts felt so easy compared to the sewing with this velvet. I also have a half completed skirt that I need to buy elastic for and see if it's really gonna fit or not. So this is the Simplicity 1616 pattern. You get all different kind of skirts. So I am making this one, the E skirt, which is what she is wearing. And the pattern is okay. I'm a little concerned about their measurements. So I traced it. I traced the size that would fit me based on the measurements, the same size that would fit me in a Tilly and the Buttons pattern. And I don't know, like, they even have the finished measurements, including E's. And this seems gigantic to me, but it doesn't have elastic in it. So I don't know. We'll see. This is the skirt. It's a little rumply, but yes, it's sharks. I have a problem. I couldn't resist. It was only like 11 bucks a yard, and then I had a coupon at Joann's, and I was like, yes. So this waistband is much too big for me. And so when I put the elastic in, the pattern says that the elastic's gonna be free floating in the top, which I am, first of all, not here for. No free floating elastic. That stuff will roll. So once the elastic is inserted and I understand whether or not it's gonna fit, then I'm gonna tack it down, because I cannot deal with elastic flipping over. Like when you bend over, you know, like when you're wearing like yoga pants that say they fit but they don't quite fit, and you bend over and then the waistband goes under your stomach. Oh, so annoying. This is like, if this is my waist, look at how much extra there is. Now I understand that it's knit and it's gonna pull in and it's gathered, but like, holy cow, that's a lot. So my plan is I need to go buy some elastic. I have a little bit of elastic left of this kind, but that's like for outside. This is gonna be on the inside of a waistband, so I don't wanna waste the pretty elastic shoving it in here. And then once I put the elastic in, I'm gonna try it on. And if I still don't like the way that it's bunching because it's too big, I will actually just make my own seam up the side and then cut off part of the dress or part of the skirt so that it will fit properly. It is gathered, so the skirt is already gathered, as you can see, and I'll show you the inside. here's some of the gathers. Gathers are a nightmare. I regret my choices. So, yes. I tried to do gathering by making my sewing machine have the longest stitch possible, like a running stitch essentially, and then you pull the bobbin thread and it's supposed to gather. So it gathered for about this much, but the panel is like this wide, and then the yarn broke. I mean, the thread broke. And I don't think there was any way around that. This fabric is just maybe too thick to be gathered. So instead what I did is I hand sewed the gathers, so they're not exactly even, but I don't really think that matters. I mean, they look like, you can clearly see that there's more gathers right here than there is here. Whatever, it's fine. And then I used like every clip and pin that I had to keep it down while I sewed the waistband on. So yeah, I like it. Sharks, you guys. But I need to go buy some elastic at Joann's before I determine what is to be done with this skirt. So I did that on Stitchcation as well, and I had actually cut out fabric for one more of the same skirt. But then I wasn't sure if it was going to fit. So I did not seam that one up, because if I don't like this, even after I put in the elastic and change the, if I don't like it after I put in the elastic, I'm going to cut part of the skirt off and make a new seam. But I think what I'll do with the Pokemon fabric after that is change it into either this skirt or the Harry Potter skirt, wherever it ended up. Because I think the panels are big enough that were cut out that I could get a smaller skirt out of it and be happy with that. So that's everything that I sewed. I did do a little shopping because I had a little birthday money that I saved for Stitchcation. So we went to 3 quilt shops plus Hobby Lobby. Now quilt shops generally are for quilting, so they do not have apparel fabric, but the last quilt shop we went to did have a very small section of a very nice apparel fabric, and it came in this cute little bag. The quilt shop in Jacksonville was called Paula's Fine Fabrics, and I saw a fabric that I want to use to make a maxi skirt, and I couldn't resist it. I bought 1.5 yards. I considered buying more, but this fabric was $19 a yard. Oh man. I understand it was worth it, but like, that is a lot of money. But look at it. It's flamingos. It's so perfect. It's gonna make the cutest maxi skirt in the world. I'll have to find a pattern for a maxi skirt, but that shouldn't be hard. It's basically like a regular skirt, but with longer panels, I assume. So that was one purchase. And then the other purchase that I made was when we went to Hobby Lobby. They had t-shirt fabric, like stretch knit that I can use to make t-shirts. Sorry for the rustling. I'm just gonna get all of these out really fast. And it was on sale. So it was generally like $7 or $8 a yard plus 30% off because it was on sale. So I bought enough to make 4 shirts. There's this color. It's super stretchy. Oh, it's gonna be so comfortable. Then there is a plain gray, because we all know how I feel about gray. Love it. I mean, I'm wearing gray right now. Then there's a plain blue, but it's kind of like a heathery blue. And then finally, there is this green with little arrows. So this is directional, so I'm gonna have to pay attention when I cut it out. But all of these have to be washed before I can use them, just in case they shrink. But I'm very excited to have gotten some t-shirt fabric because I've been at Joann's recently and I just haven't really, like, they have a bunch of knits, but it's not this like super soft, super stretchy knit stuff. I don't know what's up with them recently, but that cost me like, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks to get enough fabric to make 4 shirts. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I was out of birthday money. I spent it all. I got one thing in the mail, and it was a lovely little gift from a very dear yarn friend named Colesseum. She sent me a little birthday present, which consisted of Is that a seal or an otter? I don't know, but it's a really adorable pin. And then a pink pin. Some llama stickers slash notions. And this beautiful pink notebook. Now, what I don't know is, did you put stickers on this yourself? Because there are, look at, there's little llama stickers on like half the pages. So if it came that way, that's impressive. And if you put them on, that's really impressive too. So there we go, llama notebook. I'm very excited to use it. It will be one of my design notebooks, most likely. I have not used it yet because I was waiting to show you, but I did use the pen and I love it. I think that's everything. I think that's everything. I have made it in an hour and 42 seconds. Although it'll be a little less for you because there'll be some editing. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. We got through everything in an hour. Later today, let's see. So it's 9 a.m. So at 10 a.m. I will be babysitting my niece, which gives me just enough time to clean all of this stuff up and get the video importing and eat some food because I'm so hungry. Then tonight, my husband and I and some friends are going to see John Wick 3. Not family friendly, but so fun. Basically, the plot of John Wick 1 is he's like an ex, I'm not gonna say mafia, but like basically like an ex cleanup assassin kind of a guy for like mobs and stuff. And he gets out and he marries a beautiful lady, and then she gets sick and dies, and then she sends him like from the grave. She ordered him a puppy, and then somebody kills his puppy, and then he kills everyone. It's great. Plus it's Keanu Reeves, so good. So we're gonna do that, and then I don't know what else. Next weekend is Memorial Day and my parents are coming to visit, and then the week after that I'll be back with you again. So if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. If you would like to be kept up to date on new episodes as they come on this channel, do hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure that you keep an eye out for the Lake of Nine Shawl announcement video so that you can get your coupon code. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Happy crafting. Bye.